The party
Guy
was lame to me.
Fieri.
Fieri.
This is the fun.
Yeah.
So they're trying to track him down. Mora's at the party.
I just want to say, you are never allowed to pick the freaking theme for anything again. Okay. Albuquerque, fire truck. We're just yelling out words now? What's going on here?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of BS Drunk Movie Reviews. This is a weekly podcast, and we do upload the video version to our YouTube channel so you can see my beautiful face and Matt's too. Sorry.
I'm prettier than you, fucker.
My name is Vetta, and as always, I am joined by my brother, Matt.
Hey, you guys.
And on tonight's episode, we are going to be talking about the movie Waiting. Now, this movie was put into our descriptions by a viewer, asking us to do this movie. So here we are. So
we humbly
you should always leave a comment because you never know if we're listening or not. So, alrighty. So before we get started talking about Waiting, what are you drinking tonight?
In honor of our redneck patron in this movie, I am having a whiskey and Coke.
Oh, nice. I am having an RC cola and rum.
Nice.
And it's actually cherry RC, which is RC is hard to find to begin with, but then you find cherry RC, and my husband bought me an 18-pack of it, and I was so excited. So. And since they're at Shenaniganz, which is like Applebee's type place,
right?
Like I would order rum and Coke at a place like this.
Yeah, for sure.
So, let me give you the overview of
the lowdown
this movie because I love it. So, this movie is about the staffers at a restaurant called Shenaniganz engaging in various pranks and games, both on and off the clock. However, in the course of one day, waiter Dean, who is played by Justin Long, who has been in a ton of movies that we have reviewed, I just might say, must choose to either accept a promotion to assistant manager or go off in search of greener pastures. Meanwhile, his co-worker and roommate, Monty, fights temptation in the forms of an underage colleague while showing a new employee the ins and outs and providing him with the worst first day ever. I don't know if I would agree with that statement. It seemed like a pretty fun day. I've had some pretty bad first days, and I don't think for this guy that it's the worst day, because what's his character's name? Mitch. I don't think it's Mitch's worst first day.
He basically didn't do anything but like sit and like talk about people's ball sacks and dicks all day and then watch a training video. Not that hard.
So we're gonna talk about that first. So in this movie at Shenaniganz, they have this game, which is the weirdest fucking game
ever. Can I just say I have zero desire to show people my dick and balls or balls.
Just showing them. You have to make it look like something.
Yeah,
There's the Batman, so you have to take your balls and stretch the foreskin out to look like wings.
Exactly.
There's the brain where you have to grab your balls and really hard so they
we don't need to go through all of the different types, honey. Or how do you feel about full frontal male nudity?
I'm fine with it as long as they're not making their cock look like a brain by squeezing their balls and making it all veiny.
I was like, man. Okay. I wanted to ask a question, and I don't know if you know the answer to this, but okay. So at the beginning of this movie and the end of this movie, they go to a party, and I'm like, do waiters and waitresses they just hang out with each other after work like all the time? Because I know people that I work with, I do not want to hang out with them outside of work. Like I just have zero interest in them.
I worked at a couple restaurants in college, and like it was not like an, at least at the places that I worked, it wasn't like an every night thing. It wasn't even an all the time thing. I think at one of the restaurants, which it was like a higher end seafood restaurant, um, I hung out with the people outside of work like maybe 2 or 3 times. Maybe they just didn't like me. That could totally be a thing. And I wasn't
Maybe.
invited because I was a college student and some of them weren't. So,
Right on.
um,
I do want to
yeah.
say though that go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say Shenanigans is a fun name for a restaurant. Like, welcome to Shenanigans. I'd be like, I'm not interested. Just bring me food.
Right. Um, I did really love the cast in this movie because this
Oh
movie was
yeah.
done before this entire cast was anybody. I mean, it's got Justin Long in it, Ryan Reynolds, it's got Anna Faris. Um, who else did it have in it? The Mitch
Luis
guy doesn't.
Guzman. Love
Oh,
him.
yep, yep. And the Mitch guy doesn't do anything, but the manager plays that guy. He plays in The Office as Packer, the sexist guy. His name's like David something. I can't remember. Um, yeah, so it's got
Yeah.
a ton of people in it.
Yeah, it's got a super fun cast.
Yeah, super fun
Um,
cast.
okay, so so Justin Long, his character, I don't remember his character's name, don't care. He goes to his mom's
Mhm.
house, right? And she's like talking to him about college and stuff like that. I just want to say he gave his mom like kind of a hard time, but I thought his mom was nice. I wrote down his mom seems really nice.
Yeah,
So,
so the only problem I had with Dean's mom was going, "Oh, guess who I ran into? Didn't you guys have all the same honors classes in high school?" That was a little shitty. So the other guy knew what he wanted to do with his life, and Dean's still trying to figure it out.
yeah, but I did also write down Justin Long is a pretty big loser. Like,
I mean,
I
he's been
mean,
working at a restaurant, since he was 18, so
I'm just saying, like, I'm all like, yo, get on with it, honey. You're only taking like 2 classes a semester. What else are you doing? Like a big load of
so
nothing.
his mom seemed nice, but my favorite mom was Monty's mom when they went to have lunch with Monty because Dean is like freaking out in his seat during Monty and his mother's interaction. But they're like, his mom's like, "I hope you're being safe." And he goes, "Of course I am. I only do anal." And she goes, "I wish your father would have done anal." You're just like, the whole conversation was quite funny. So it's Mitch's no, yeah, it's Mitch's first day, and the manager is a typical what you would think of a supervisor. He wants to be one of the cool guys and part of the group and all of that, but he's a dick. Oh, we should talk about the what is it?
Oh, look, a chicken. Go ahead. We should talk about what?
The two like potheads. What are their names?
Oh,
T-Dog and
and
Nick or Nick and
shit nuts. I
T-Dog.
don't know. Nick and T Dog.
T-Dog.
Yeah, yeah. I just have to say my favorite thing with T Dog and shit nuts, whatever his name was. I wrote it down somewhere. Here. Okay, I love when they have their dream sequence where the manager is freaking out in the face, like, help me, and everything, and they're just like, how about, take this shit, bitch, or whatever. I don't remember what they say and everything. And I'm just like, that was funny. And then it's a dream. I'm like, all right, it's not as fun anymore.
Well, I loved their rap at the end during the credits.
See, I skipped that shit because I was like, I don't have time for white boy magic right now. I just don't have time.
Oh my God, it was so dumb. Okay, so it's Mitch's first day, and Monty's giving him the lowdown, but then he hands him off to what's his name? Louis.
Louis Guzman's the
Yes,
chef. Oh,
yes. I can't remember his name. He had a
Radimus.
really weird name.
Radimus.
Radimus. Yeah, he
Yeah.
hands him off to Radimus to show him the penis showing, to tell him the rules of the
Yeah.
penis showing game. And you get a glimpse of Monty's first day where his um person he shadowed or trainer didn't give him a heads up, and he walks into the storage room and it's just a guy hanging from the ceiling with his pants around his
And he's
ankle.
just like sitting there watching his dick just dangle. And I'm all like, turn around or hide your eyes. I mean, you got a glimpse, okay?
Yeah. You saw it, you run now. Oh, and when they get caught staring at someone's dick when they do this. They get to kick them in the ass and
Oh,
call them a
yeah, which I just want to say, this movie would not be able to be made right now.
no,
They say the F slur a lot in
so
this movie,
much.
so much.
So much.
I was like, as soon as it kept popping up, and I was like, you guys, this movie is not viable anymore.
No.
People would
Yes.
freak the fuck out. Although I'd
Well,
still see it.
even though when Monty keeps hitting on Vanessa, whatever her name is, the hostess, I can't remember her character's
Yeah, it
name.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, anyways, he keeps hitting on her. I'm like, oh man, she's 17 years old. I'm not sure that would fly today either, because
Right?
that's just wrong. So um Monty used to date one of the girls, Serena, and Jason Long is dating one of the girls now, and I don't remember.
Oh, who cares? That
Yeah.
she's going nowhere in life. I did. Okay, so I did write down some things about these employees. Okay, first
Okay,
off,
let's do it. You want to talk about each one of them?
no, we don't have to talk
Oh,
about each one of them because I
okay.
really don't care about all of them, but I just wrote down some things about some. First off, I hate Dane Cook. I don't like him at all. He drives me
And
mental.
he's a cook in this
Yes, he's a cook in this
movie.
movie. But I did write down a line that he said that made me laugh really loud. He goes, "Carpe D's these nuts. I can't wait to quit this job." I was like, that's fine. All right, that was funny. I'm pretty sure he didn't write that line.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you're putting that in your back pocket to use
Yeah,
someday.
yeah. Whenever my boss says anything, I'll be like, "Yeah, carpe diem these nuts." Anyways, or carpe D these nuts. Okay, all right. So out of everybody, I would like to talk about Naomi, please, if we could.
Love
Naomi is
Naomi.
my favorite character in this movie because Naomi keeps it real. And I feel like I am a kindred spirit with Naomi because I have been working at my job for way too long. And Naomi, I just, every time she said something, I was like, I feel you, girl. I feel you. Like when she goes, when they go, when they're like, I gave you the table. I don't think they can speak English. She goes, foreigners. I fucking hate foreigners. I was like,
When
oh,
she goes on a little rant,
yeah, I'm like, honey, preach it, sister. I hate foreigners too.
she's like, they try to make it sound like they don't know we tip. Oh, they know.
No, yeah, they know. And it's like, yeah, they know. And then the foreigners like stupid Americans and everything. And it's like, oh man. Okay. Also, I love how she's like talking to that fat lady, and she's all like, I think I'll have the hot fudge sundae. She's like, that does sound good. And then she's like, bitch, don't need no more hot fudge sundaes. And then that yeah, the dishwasher guy is all like, maybe you need to chill. I don't remember what he says, but she's like, you know what, John? Maybe you mind your fucking business. And I'm like, Bishop, and I love how when she steps out on the floor, she cracks her neck. She's like, and then and then she like gets a smile, and she's like, hey, and loved it. Naomi's my favorite.
Oh, I totally, my kids will totally tell you I do that. Like 1 minute, I'm absolutely positively just reading them the riot act, and then my phone rings and I answer it, and I'm like, hello. And I'm still making faces at them like, we are not done. But I'm in this cheery, pleasant voice. They're like, that's really psychotic, mom, that you do that. But yes, Bishop offers her, excuse me, therapy lesson, therapy.
Yeah,
And she's all like, you would do that for me? You
yeah.
would, you would? She's like, well, thanks, but I'd like it if you would just shut the fuck
Yeah,
up and
yeah.
wash the dishes. Goddamn psycho babble bullshit.
Yeah. She was the best, except for when she showed her merkin. I wasn't interested in that. Which, by the way, Vetta, do you get toilet paper in your pubes? Like, I was just like very confused by that.
And it looked like she had spitballs, and I'm like, someone
Yeah.
was having Target
Yeah,
practice.
I watched this with my wife, and my wife was all like, I'm confused. Why does she have toilet paper
Well, because
in
she
her?
was going commando, so you gotta imagine she was commando
I mean,
all
I
day.
guess so. I go commando. I don't get stuff in my
I
pubes.
don't either. I just
Okay.
go, that was gross, funny, but gross at
Yeah.
the same time.
Okay,
So
right on. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, so right away in the beginning of this movie, like Namely is also bitching about how many people are working that day.
You're right. Yeah. Mm.
So so you have, what is it? So five waiters or six waiters and waitresses on staff. The hostess and then all of the back cook
Yeah, like the bus
people
boy is, you know.
and things like that. But the wait staff, Bishop the dishwasher, and what was the guy's
Calvin.
Calvin, thank you.
Yeah.
He is such a fucking pussy. Like he
Such a
took a
pussy.
fellow coworker out on a date and didn't do anything. And now he's working a double. I hated
For her,
working
yeah.
doubles in the service industry because it's so long.
What is a double? How many hours is that?
So it's usually like 12 hours.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
12 to 16, depending on the hours of the
Yeah.
restaurant. It's normally like open to close.
Right on.
At least it was at the restaurant I worked at, but we weren't
Right
open
on.
till all hours of the night.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. So, yeah, Calvin annoyed the shit out of me. But I have
Calvin
one.
can't pee in public.
Yeah, I would just want to say at this point in time, I did sympathize with Calvin just a tiny, tiny bit because had a shy bladder when I was younger. I don't have a shy bladder now. I could pee in front of you and everything. I just be like,
I would appreciate it if you didn't.
I have no plans to. I'm just saying, like, if we were out in the woods and you're just like, I'm just like, I'm gonna pee, and then I just, pee or whatever. And if you saw anything, I just like whatever.
Well, you couldn't pee, like, he can't even pee in a stall. Like,
yeah, because he thinks people are talking to him, and I'm like, dude, you have a problem. If you're hearing voices,
you should be medicated.
And
sir.
if some dude was looking at my dick the way that guy was looking at his dick, like he wanted to eat it for Thanksgiving supper, I'd be like, well, thank you. I'm very complimented that you find my dick so attractive, but it's not for sale. So you need to just calm it down. Mm.
And then he's a pussy because he keeps calling this girl.
Oh my God. So much. Like the desperation was oozing from his pores.
And he's so awkward the whole time.
So awkward. It's so weird.
And he's not actually talking to her. So how awkward is he when he's actually, this is him talking to her voicemail.
Yeah.
What happens? Their date must have sucked dick for that girl.
Yeah. And he's like, I really respect her. Why don't you respect her like after you come? Like, okay. Like
everybody else is like, this is dumb. You're ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they have a whole conversation about girls liking assholes and all this other stuff. So they were like, you need confidence, dude. So the course of the day goes on, and I'm gonna talk about a couple of my favorite customers.
Oh my God, I have thoughts. Okay, go ahead.
So first there is the redneck couple that are there on their anniversary, and they order 2 steaks, well done.
Gross.
So gross. The guy orders a double whiskey, and he orders a water, and then he goes, you know what? It's our anniversary. Why don't you bring her a Coke? And I'm like, oh my God.
And then I wrote down his biggest mistake was putting ketchup on a fucking steak.
Right?
That is blasphemy right there. Like it's like why are you ruining a steak? Well, you've already ruined it by turning it into a piece of wood, but you're just gonna ruin it. And I love how he says nothing brings out the flavor of a steak like ketchup. I'm like, ew, you're grossing.
Okay, first of all, if you wouldn't have had it well done,
you wouldn't have had flavor. Exactly. You have burnt out all the flavor, honey. It's just bark at this point. You're just chewing on bark.
You're eating beef jerky at this point.
That's exactly what it is. Hot beef jerky. That's all it is. It's like, why would you?
It's actually like Christmas Vacation when the turkey and they're dipping.
Oh my God! Right? Yeah.
That's what.
It's exactly. So okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah. So I love that because then this guy gives him like $1.68 tip.
Yeah, which was a bullshit move.
Such bullshit because he was like, oh, even if he only gives me 10% on a $80 thing, it's fine. But the guy left him like $1.68.
Yeah,
and he goes back and gives the guy the money and says, you need this more than I do. And the guy loses his shit. And I'm like, really? You just spent like $80 on well done steak. The restaurant should be losing their shit on you.
Right. Yeah. And I love how, okay. So first off, Justin Long shouldn't have said anything because it's like, what were you going to get from it? You weren't going to accomplish anything by that and everything. You were just going to get in trouble. And then, but then, the guy, listen, as somebody, I hate tipping. I think it's stupid, but at the same time, you're getting at least 20% from me. I mean, like, come on, like if it was like an $80 tip or an $80 bill, 10% is what? What is that? Like that's $8 and everything. I can give you $16. That's not that big a deal. Yeah. Like,
well, and my thing is honestly, you're gonna get 20% from me. But if you start like doing things that make me upset, well, then it's gonna start dwindling down to like
that's
15.
true. Yeah.
I never ever tip less than 15%. I'm just
I have.
But granted, nowadays, because they add that service charge, if I get shitty service, I'm like, I've got to pay you this much plus this much more. Because, you give a 20% tip with the service charge, you're paying like 40% more for the meal. But my whole thing is if you keep my drinks filled and you ask me if I need anything else and you check on me, you're getting your tip.
Yeah. You do the bare minimum, you'll get the bare minimum. Don't worry. It's like, it's not,
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, like,
that customer was great. I loved the bitchy lady.
Oh my gosh. Can we talk about the bitchy lady, please? I have thoughts. What are your thoughts?
So first of all, the way she starts it out, she was a Karen before Karens were a thing.
Right.
And my first thoughts is she says the last 4 times we've been here, it's been awful. Then why the fuck do you
That's what I wrote down. Why are you coming back? Like, I had an Applebee's by my house that my kids loved. And every time we were like, where do you guys want to go to eat for dinner? Like a sit down dinner. They'd be like, Applebee's. And I'd be like, shit. But we went there 2 times. The first time, it was awful. The second time, it was fucking awful. We stopped going. I was like, the first time, maybe the first time it was just, and I wrote him, I'm like, listen, I'm not going to not go to Applebee's anymore, but I'm not going to this Applebee's anymore. So
I will drive 15 minutes out of my way to go to a different Applebee's. Yeah. No, I'm the same way. If it's a bad service, well, if something goes wrong the first time, I will give you a second chance because I'm always like, the server could be new. It could
having
be
a bad
someone's
day.
It could be someone's bad day. We all have bad days.
Yeah, exactly.
And, but if I come back a second time and it's the same bad situation or it's worse, no, I'm done. Thank you very much, but I'm done.
Yeah.
This lady has come back 4 times. I have a lot of problems. First of all, she berates Amy. That's the girl's name. She berates Amy because they asked for lemon in their water, but she wanted lemon in the water and then a plate of lemon so they could have some more. And I'm like, so then you have to ask for some more lemon. You can't just assume your server's fucking psychic and is going to waste a plate of lemons for your table.
Right.
So the other thing, Amy is like done. And I have seen this. I've never had this happen to me, but we have observed this where someone is just being a pain in the ass and the server's like doesn't go back to them and a different server starts bringing their drinks and their food or whatever. So that's what she does. And Monty goes and grabs her food. The lady touches her steak and is like, did that girl not listen to anything I said? I said I wanted it medium. And she's poking on it. And then she's like, and I wanted extra gravy. And I'm not done with my salad. And I'm like, you need to calm down. You clearly have some kind of high stress job and you're taking it out on all these people. You need to, chill.
Yeah, well, she came off very cunt strong. Like she was very cunt strong. And then did you see the look of her other friends at the table?
They're embarrassed as all.
They're just like, Jesus, Kathleen, calm it fucking down and everything.
But then I go there just as bad because they don't call her on her shit. So either they feel bad that she's behaving this way and they don't have the balls to say anything because they're afraid she's going to turn it on them, or they agree with her and they're like, oh shit, she's saying something.
Yeah. Before we go any further, I just want to say, don't eat the mashed potatoes.
So Monty says, let me take that back and have it fixed for you. And when he turns
I love
around,
it.
he gets,
I love how when he said that, she was all like, "Good, then I can finish my salad." I'm all like, "Yeah, you better finish your salad, honey. That's
you
the
better
only
be
thing."
full.
Yeah, you should definitely.
So Monty has her plate, and everyone else at her table is fine with theirs. When he turns around, he makes eye contact with like everyone and does like a little, let's
Yeah, we
go.
need to get together.
And they get into the back and they're trying to decide on if she needs her food fucked with or if it's fine. And of course, they let Amy make the decision.
Which,
And
real
Amy
quick,
goes,
what decision would you have made?
oh, I couldn't have done it. I
No.
would have just, no,
Oh.
I have issues with messing with people's
I don't like messing
food.
with people's food either because I don't like my food messed with. Like if
Yeah.
I go to a restaurant and they bring it and it's bad, I'm just like, I'll just eat it. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'll just take it home in a doggy bag. I'll cook it when I get home. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Mm.
Yeah. So she decides that the do it. She was a bitch. So they go down the line of the sous chefs and the line cooks,
Oh,
whatever they
so
are,
gross. Sous
and they're
chefs.
all having their own little special. One guy
Those
shakes
herbs and
dandruff.
spices. Oh,
One
gross.
guy did one guy.
I want to ask a question. How did she not know that she was eating pube gravy or whatever, or pube
Well,
on pubes?
that was loogie gravy because
Yeah,
remember he
but
hops
how,
the
yeah, right. And then I'm getting so grossed out just thinking about it. How did she not notice that she had pube hair in her mouth while she's eating a steak? I mean,
It
like
did not look like alfalfa
it
sprouts,
did
like
not
the
look
guy
obvious.
said. It
Yeah,
did
yeah,
not look like a garnish. I mean, and oh,
yeah. It's so gross. Like, yeah,
how
when
did
you,
she not take a bite of
yeah, exactly. I'm grossing
and not
myself.
know she was eating a loogie?
Yeah, ew. It's so gross.
So gross.
But at the same time, I mean, like, at the same time, I don't feel bad for her because she's just like she was being such an asshole for no reason. Like, if
Like
something
Monty
would,
says, don't fuck with the people that handle your food.
yeah, exactly. Like if she would have said her first statement like the last time, like, and the last waitress was a real bitch or something like that, I would have been like, okay, I would handle it like Amy did it. And then if she like from then point on, she was like fine and everything. And then when she brought her food, she's like, hey, can you cook this? Waiters and waitresses will be nice to you and they'll be like, yeah, I'll go, I'll go throw your steak on the grill for a couple
Yeah,
more minutes or
because they
whatever.
don't want you to have an unpleasant experience
Yeah.
from their end as far as the food and their service goes, because they want a bigger tip. They're not going to fuck you over unless they're
Yeah.
just an evil person. But
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Like the last time I went out, it wasn't even a big deal. They brought me rice pilaf, ugh, and I ordered asparagus. And I was just like, "Hey, I ordered asparagus," and they're like, "Oh, okay," and everything. And I was like, and they brought me asparagus, and they didn't take the rice pilaf away. And I was like, I'm not gonna eat this. I'm not eating this rice pilaf. Gross. But yeah, it's I'm waiters and waitresses will be way cool with you if you're just like, the tiniest bit of show them common decency,
oh
like.
yeah, we went out to dinner just
And
2 weeks
go ahead,
ago,
go ahead, go ahead.
and we were at a restaurant, and when we got there we were supposed to be seated at like 7:30, and when we got there they weren't ready for us, so we sat at the bar and had a couple of drinks. Well, when we sat down, they gave us a free they brought over, didn't even ask us if we wanted them. The bartender just walked over to our table with cheese curds and was like, "Here you go." And we were like, "What?" And then they forgot my daughter's twice baked potato, and she came back and she was like, "Oh, here you go, and don't worry about it. I took it off the thing." Like, we didn't
Yeah.
ask them to be that nice because we weren't complaining, because we were in no hurry and we didn't care. We were just kind of like, okay. But because they were nice and everything, they got a more significant tip. But they would have gotten a good tip too, no matter what. I just am
Yeah.
like, they don't want
That,
you to have a bad experience because it
yeah.
affects them.
And that bitchy Karen, her mother never taught her the golden rule like our mother did. You get more with sugar than you do with shit.
True. So then the next customer that I loved was the old man with
Oh my God,
Alzheimer's.
yeah, he was great. He was so
he
great.
He was so sweet. And I loved his line on I can flip off small children and no one says anything because I'm going senile,
Hmm.
and then he's like, Well,
His
what's the
teeth.
downside? He goes, I flip off small children and someone smacks me and I didn't even know I did it.
Right on. Yeah, no, he was great. The only thing is every when he sat down with what was it, Monty, was that his
Monty.
name? I
Yeah.
just wanted to be like, Monty, you do know gingivitis is the leading cause of all tooth decay. Honey, like I say this to everybody with bad teeth. It's like, what are you, British? Yeah, like fix that shit.
Well, and I was like, Monty, shouldn't you have questioned what this guy could afford? Because he looked like he was still in his pajamas.
Right on. Yeah.
And then I loved, so the dinner rush starts to happen and they're seating people. I loved the two what I'm assuming are gay guys that were having the talk about what a pretty word chlamydia is. And then one
I'm
guy
gonna name my
is like,
daughter chlamydia. Like what?
I'm like, no woman in her right mind or no man is going to let you name their daughter chlamydia.
Exactly. Yeah, I've decided now I don't fuck with people with weird names, and that, yeah, like your daughter, poor little chlamydia. like I'm sorry, even if that wasn't like a vaginal disease or whatever or an STD, I'm like, it's still a pretty fucking horrible name. Okay, that's like naming your what are you gonna name your daughter next? Concretia? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Clementine.
Clementine. People do name their kid
I
Clementine.
know.
So
So,
yeah.
and I loved when what's her name? Shit, Serena has the table of the two
I just wrote
bros.
down Anna Faris.
Serena
Okay.
has the two table of bros, and she's like, "Hey guys, I'm Serena. I'm gonna be taking care of you tonight." And they high five and are like, "I
Yeah.
like the sound of that."
Yeah. Yeah. Here's a question for you. Do you think Anna Faris fucked those two dudes at the same time?
Definitely.
Yeah, 'cause she's a big whore.
So yeah, those were probably, I mean, there were a lot of others. I also like the girl sitting at the bar that her boyfriend just broke up with her, and the bartender who's a lesbian like hones in on that
See,
shit.
I thought that
And
was the most boring part of the whole movie. I was like, I don't give a shit about
no,
this
I
wannabe
liked it
lesbian.
because when Monty is waiting for his drinks and he's like, I don't remember the bartender's name. He's like, "You gonna make my drink?" And then she's like grabbing the cup and she's scooping ice and she's being so angry about him. Like,
Right.
he just asked you to do his job. And then the customer is just giving him the evil eye. And he's
Right
like,
on.
I know what it's like. All women flock to vagina. And I'm like, well, that's not true. But
That's funny.
yeah, so were there any other customers that you liked?
I just really loved when they had the birthday kid and he's like I need birthday singers, and I love how I don't remember the birthday song, but the only part that I remember is because Ryan Reynolds'
We
face was
sing
so
off
funny.
key.
Yeah, he's like, when we sing off key and everything, and I was just like, that's funny. You know, at restaurants, I have not been able to find a restaurant that will sing happy birthday anymore since COVID. COVID really fucked everything up. Like we went the last time we went on our anniversary, and I was just like, I just wanted a little something extra. Couldn't get it, you know. The only thing I could get was them to take a picture of us. Oh, they gave us our dessert for free. That was fine. But
And his grandma or aunt or whoever she was wanted him to sing. That poor kid looked like he was
yeah,
miserable. He was crying. He looked like he possibly pissed his pants.
yeah,
And
and
it was a frozen, gross
yeah, that
cake.
shitty cake. I was like, ew, like you guys. You
And
should
that
have got
is the good thing about this movie is you got to remember that Mitch is watching a training video, so he'll get to a part where it's like, even though you find some of your coworkers attractive, you cannot have a relationship. And it shows the one guy and his girlfriend, having sex in the
yeah, they're
bathroom.
smashing.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, Customers, are we gonna talk about the very last customer?
Oh, the guy. Yeah, the guy his mom
Okay.
was talking about.
Yeah, so I wrote down
Dean's
Dean.
high school classmate.
Okay, so I wrote down Chet. His name is Chet because I wrote it
Oh
down.
God,
Okay.
yes. How did we forget
So
that?
I wrote down that it sucks that Dean had to wait on Chet because he was like obsessed with him like a weirdo. But it, uh Chet was a dick, so he deserved that floor food when it fell on the floor. He deserved it.
Chet was, so this is my thing. Do you think restaurant people actually do that at the end of the night when they're
Yes.
ready to go home. They
Yes.
drop your food. Yeah, I don't go to restaurants if it's close to closing because I'm
Yeah.
afraid of that. So Chet was an overall dick. You know, the only reason he went there is because he ran in to Dean's mom at the supermarket with his mom, and she said, "Oh, he's a server at Shenanigans." So he went there
Mhm.
because all he did was talk about how he got a job in engineering and he's starting out at 68,000 and looking at houses. It's really exciting. And then he asked Dean how things are going, and Dean starts talking about his community college, and the guy interrupts him and is like, "Can I get some more tea?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're a dick. You just want to brag." And I'm like, the girl's
Mhm.
just sitting there. I would have been like, I need to go because you're a tool.
Yeah, 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 for
And
sure.
then he does the exact opposite as whiskey anniversary guy. He gives him $100 bill on a $30 bill. So he gives him like a $70 tip or some shit.
Mhm. Yeah, and he's like, I just figured you needed it more than I do. And I was like, ooh, burn.
Right.
All
See,
those
and I go, that's not a
$70.
burn because I would have looked right at him and go, well, I don't because I make pretty good money here, but I'm keeping it
Yeah, I'm
now.
keeping it. Yeah, $70. Yeah. You know how much I gotta, you know how many dicks I have to suck to get $70 a night? So okay. I did write down a couple things about Justin Long's character. I wrote down that Justin Long has plenty of time to fix his life because he's just a whiny little bitch.
Because he's
'Cause
what, 22 years old?
yeah, because he's all like, Chad has a career already, and I'm stuck at Shenanigans. I'm like, oh, you poor little bitch.
You're
Okay.
paying your bills. You're
Yeah,
having
exactly.
parties every night, it seems like.
Okay, I wanted to ask you because I thought, okay, so I thought Dean, because he quit, right? He quits at the end. That's his big thing because he got offered the manager spot, but then he ended up quitting.
Yep.
But then I thought he should have taken the job to join Jake's Steakhouse.
I did too, and he crumbles up the business card and just drops it on the floor. And first I'm like, dude, you're gonna have to pick that up because you're the closing server. So you're gonna have to clean that up.
Yeah,
Second of all, why wouldn't you have done that? That would have been way better tips, a way better place.
yeah, plus you could still work there. Being a waiter and going to college doesn't seem like that because you can, do your classes or whatnot and just be like, I can't work this time and this time. And it just seemed like that
And
seemed
Jake's
like
Steakhouse seemed like a higher level restaurant, so they're probably not open till like 4 in the afternoon anyway.
maybe, but I'm like, you get out of Shenanigans, change things up a tiny bit, I guess. Anyways, I just as soon as he said that, as soon as he quit, I was like, you should just go take the job at Jake's. You need a
Yeah,
job. You're not going to school. Like, you're barely taking any classes, fucker.
right.
Um, okay, so I also wrote down at the end of the night, when they're at the party, when Mitch gives I liked Mitch's speech. I liked his speech.
Bitch's speech was great. And then he looks at Dane Cook and he's like, "You motherfucker." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, give it to him, give it to him."
Yeah, hard. Give it to him hard.
And remember when he gets to oh shit. What was the one guy that was the pussy? What was his name? I already forgot.
Calvin.
Calvin. And he gets to him and he goes, "You know what? You're not even worth it." And Calvin looked like he was excited to hear what he had to say. So he does this big speech to distract everyone so he can pull off the epitome of all dick showing moves, the goat. And he pulls it off, and everyone thinks he's amazing now. And
Mhm.
that's kind of how it ends with Mitch being a made man of
Mhm.
Shenanigans
Right.
life goals. And then if you watch the credits, Nick and T-Dog have like the whitest white boy rap
Yeah,
ever.
I wasn't ready for white boy magic, so I was like, never mind. I'm not gonna watch this.
It's so terrible. It's so terrible. It's great.
Yeah,
So, all right. So overall, would you recommend this movie?
I would. I would.
I would too. I love this movie so much. I go through a little stitch every now and then where I watch it a lot and then move on to something else. But yeah, I love
I'm
this movie. It's a good one because you get to see all these characters before all these actors before they're really big.
mhm.
And this was a great movie. I love it.
Yeah, I don't do that where I watch it constantly. This is the first time I've watched it in like years, but I do like this movie. I just want to say one last thing before I'm done saying anything. I just want to say that just remember, Vetta, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is just that little extra.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Follow us on Twitter at BS Drunk Pod to stay updated. Here are all of our fun movie facts, any polls that we have, or as of lately, Matt making fun of me, which is always a good time.
Oh, trust me, I have one for this podcast. It never gets old. It's so much fun.
You listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Google, anywhere that allows you to leave a review, please leave us a 5-star review. It does help us tremendously, and we totally appreciate it. We will also be posting the video version of this to our YouTube channel, so you can check that out at YouTube BS Drunk Movie Reviews. Oh, and by the way, hit that subscribe like button and drop us a note in the comments. Give us a movie that you'd like us to do, or just say hi. Also, we have started a Patreon. If you like what we do here and you want to support us financially, we appreciate it. Hop on over there. We've got levels for everyone. Or if you like what we do and you want to hear us do all of this just a little bit more to franchises, you can listen to us talk about Scream, Jurassic Park, Bring It On, Ghostbusters, Sex and the City, and much more. The link is in the description below. And guys, join us next week where we will once again drink, recap, review, and repeat. Bye, guys.
Bye.